Hello, everyone, and welcome back to SimpleSpeak English. My name is Mark, and I'm really happy you are here with us today, wherever you are listening from. Maybe at home, maybe driving, maybe walking outside, or maybe just relaxing after a long day.
Hi, everyone. I'm Lily, and thank you so much for joining us again. We know your time is valuable, so if you chose to spend a few minutes with us today, we truly appreciate it. And today's conversation is going to be very relaxed, very natural, and very easy to follow.
Yes, exactly. And today we're going to talk about something simple but very important in daily English, and that is how to speak about your weekend like a native speaker, because weekends are something everyone talks about.
That's true. And when people meet on Monday morning, one of the first questions is usually, "How was your weekend?" or "What did you do this weekend?" And sometimes English learners know the words, but they don't feel comfortable answering naturally.
Yes, and many learners answer with very short sentences, like, "It was good," or "I stayed home." And that's correct English, but today we want to help you sound more natural, more relaxed, and more confident when you talk about your weekend.
And don't worry if your English is not perfect, because this conversation is slow, simple, and friendly. And you can just listen and repeat later if you want to practice speaking.
Before we start, if you enjoy slow and natural English conversations like this, don't forget to subscribe to SimpleSpeak English. And you can also leave a comment telling us where you are listening from and what you usually do on weekends.
Yes, we really enjoy reading your comments, and sometimes your ideas even become future episode topics.
So, Lily, let me ask you a very simple question to start, just like real life. How was your weekend?
My weekend was actually very calm, and I really needed that because the whole week was busy and I felt a little tired by Friday evening, so I decided not to make big plans.
That already sounds very natural because you didn't just say good, you explained how you felt and why your weekend was calm.
Yes, and I think that's the secret. Native speakers often add feelings and small details, not just actions. So instead of saying, "I stayed home," you can say, "I stayed home because I was tired and I wanted to relax."
That's a very good point. So what did you actually do on Saturday?
On Saturday morning, I woke up late, which almost never happens, and it felt really nice not to rush anywhere. I made coffee, sat near the window, and just enjoyed a quiet morning.
That sounds peaceful. I think many people listening right now are thinking, I want that kind of morning.
Yes, sometimes doing nothing feels like the best plan. And later in the afternoon, I met a friend for lunch, and we talked for almost 2 hours without noticing the time.
That happens a lot when the conversation is good.
Exactly. And we talked about work, family, and future plans. And it reminded me that weekends are not always about doing something exciting. Sometimes they're about slowing down and reconnecting with people.
I like that idea. My weekend was a little different. It was more active and, honestly, a little chaotic.
Oh, really? What happened?
Well, on Saturday morning, I planned to clean the house for 1 hour, but you know how that goes. 1 hour became 3 hours, and suddenly my whole day was gone.
Yes, cleaning always takes longer than expected.
Exactly. And then in the afternoon, I decided to go for a walk because the weather was nice, and I thought it would help me relax after cleaning.
That sounds like a good balance. Work first, then relaxation.
Yes, and during the walk, I noticed many people outside. Families, kids playing, people walking dogs, and it made me realize that weekends feel different from weekdays. People move slower and they smile more.
That's true. Weekends have a different energy. People don't feel as rushed.
So, Lily, when someone asks you on Monday, "What did you do this weekend?" how do you usually answer?
I usually start simple, like "it was pretty relaxing," and then I add one or two small details, like meeting a friend, watching a movie, or cooking something new.
That's very natural. You don't need a long story, just enough detail to continue the conversation.
Yes, because conversation is like a game of sharing small pieces. If you say too little, the conversation stops. But if you share small details, the other person can ask more questions.
That's a very important lesson for English learners. Speaking isn't about perfect grammar, it's about connection.
Exactly. For example, instead of saying, I watched TV, you can say, I watched a movie I really liked and it helped me relax after a busy week.
And now the other person can ask, "Oh, what movie did you watch?" And the conversation continues naturally.
Yes, and that's how real conversations grow.
Let me ask you something else, Lily. Do you prefer busy weekends or quiet weekends?
Honestly, it depends on the week. If my week is stressful, I prefer a quiet weekend, staying home, reading, or cooking. But if my week is calm, then I want to go outside and do something different.
I feel the same way. When I was younger, I thought weekends had to be exciting all the time, like going out, meeting many people, doing many activities.
And now?
Now, I think a good weekend is simply one where I feel rested on Sunday night.
That's a very honest answer. Many people understand that feeling.
I remember one weekend when I planned too many things, and by Sunday evening, I felt more tired than on Friday.
Yes, that happens when we try to do everything.
So, for our listeners, here's a simple idea. When you talk about your weekend in English, you can follow a simple pattern. First, say how your weekend felt, then say one or two things you did, and maybe add how it made you feel.
For example, my weekend was relaxing. I stayed home, cooked dinner, and spent time with my family, and it helped me recharge for the new week.
That sounds very natural and very clear.
And remember, simple English is powerful. You don't need complicated words to sound natural.
That's true. Sometimes learners try to use difficult vocabulary and the sentence becomes stressful to say.
Yes, and when you feel stressed, your speaking becomes less natural.
Let's talk about Sunday, because Sunday conversations are also very common. What do you usually do on Sunday evenings?
Sunday evenings feel a little emotional to me sometimes. I usually prepare for the week, maybe organize things, and I like to have a quiet dinner.
I understand that feeling. Sunday evening can feel calm, but also a little sad because the weekend is ending.
Yes, and many people talk about that feeling at work on Monday morning. They say things like, Sunday went by too fast, or I wish the weekend was longer.
That's a very common expression.
And learners can use it easily. Just saying, the weekend went by too fast already sounds natural.
I think weekends also give people stories to share. Small stories, not big ones.
Exactly, like trying a new restaurant, watching a funny movie, or even just sleeping more than usual.
Sleeping more is definitely a popular weekend activity.
Yes, maybe the most popular one.
Let me ask you a question, Lily. What is your perfect weekend?
My perfect weekend would start with a slow morning, no alarm, good coffee, maybe a walk outside, then spending time with people I like, and ending the day without feeling rushed.
That sounds very balanced. My perfect weekend includes some time outside, maybe nature, because it helps clear my mind.
I think many listeners feel the same way, especially after busy work weeks.
And this is also a good reminder that English conversations are often about simple life moments, not big achievements.
Yes, and when you talk about simple things, your English becomes more natural because you're speaking from real experience.
Yes, and I think that is something many learners don't realize at first, because they think good English means big vocabulary or very complex sentences. But in real life, people usually talk about simple things in a relaxed way.
That's true, and sometimes the simplest conversations are the most enjoyable, like talking about food you ate, a place you visited, or even something funny that happened during the weekend.
Speaking of funny things, something a little embarrassing happened to me last weekend.
Oh no, that already sounds interesting. What happened?
So I decided to cook something new because I saw a recipe online and it looked very easy. And I thought, how hard can this be?
That is usually the beginning of a problem.
Exactly. The recipe said it would take 20 minutes, but somehow I spent almost 1 hour in the kitchen. And in the end, the food didn't look anything like the picture.
That happens to everyone. Did it at least taste good?
Honestly, it It was not terrible, but it was definitely not great either. I ate it anyway because I didn't want to waste food.
That's very honest. And actually, this is a great example for learners because this kind of small story is perfect for conversation. You can say, I tried cooking something new, but it didn't go as planned, and people immediately become interested.
Yes, and then they usually share their own story, like a cooking disaster or something funny that happened to them.
Exactly. And that's how conversations become natural, because people connect through shared experiences.
Do you have any weekend stories like that, Lily? Something that didn't go as planned?
Oh, yes, many times. One weekend, I decided to wake up early and go for a morning walk because I wanted to feel productive and healthy.
That sounds like a good plan so far.
Yes, but when my alarm rang, I turned it off and told myself, just 5 more minutes. And when I opened my eyes again, it was almost noon.
That happens to me all the time.
And instead of feeling guilty, I just laughed and decided that maybe my body needed rest more than exercise that day.
That's actually a healthy way to think about it. Sometimes weekends are for listening to your body.
Yes, and this is also something learners can talk about. Native speakers often talk about feelings, not only actions. For example, I planned to wake up early, but I was too tired, so I slept more and felt better.
That sounds very natural and very human.
And when you speak like that, people understand you emotionally, not just grammatically.
I like that phrase, emotionally, not just grammatically. That's very important.
Let me ask you something, Mark. Do you prefer weekends at home or weekends outside?
I think I need both. If I stay home all weekend, I start to feel a little restless. But if I go out too much, I feel tired. So I try to balance it.
That makes sense. Maybe one active day and one slow day?
Yes, exactly. For example, Saturday can be for activities, meeting friends, or going outside, and Sunday can be slower, preparing for the week and relaxing.
I think many people naturally do that without thinking about it. Saturday feels energetic, and Sunday feels reflective.
Reflective is a good word. Sunday makes people think about the past week and the new week coming.
Yes, and sometimes Sunday evenings are when people call family or talk longer with friends because everything becomes quieter.
That reminds me of my childhood weekends. Sundays always felt slower, and there was a feeling that the weekend was slowly ending.
I know that feeling. Even as adults, we still feel it sometimes.
For learners, talking about memories is also a great way to practice English. You can say, when I was younger, weekends were different because, and then continue your story.
Yes, and memories naturally create longer sentences, which helps speaking become smoother.
Let's imagine a real situation. You arrive at work on Monday morning and a coworker asks, "How was your weekend?" What could you say?
You could say something simple, like, it was nice and relaxing. I didn't do anything special, but I spent time at home and watched a movie.
And then maybe add a small detail like, the weather was nice, so I went for a walk, or I tried a new restaurant.
Yes, because details invite conversation. Without details, the conversation ends quickly.
I think many learners worry about making mistakes, so they speak less.
That's true, but mistakes are normal. Even native speakers make mistakes when they speak. The goal is communication, not perfection.
Exactly. And weekends are a safe topic because everyone understands it. There is no pressure.
And everyone has a weekend story, even if the story is simply resting or doing nothing.
Doing nothing is actually a very popular weekend activity.
Yes, and people often say, I did nothing and it was perfect.
I like that sentence. It sounds very natural.
Another natural thing people say is, I just took it easy this weekend.
That's a very useful expression. Take it easy means to relax and not stress too much.
Yes, and learners can use it in many situations, not only for weekends.
Lily, do you think weekends are different now compared to a few years ago?
Yes, I think so. Many people now try to use weekends to recharge mentally, not only physically. People talk more about rest, balance, and spending meaningful time with others.
I agree. Before, weekends sometimes felt like a race to do many things, but now people value calm moments more.
And calm conversations like this are part of that. Listening slowly, learning slowly, without pressure.
That's actually the philosophy of SimpleSpeak English, learning step by step naturally.
Yes, because language learning is not a race. It's more like a long walk.
That's a beautiful comparison.
Thank you. And during that walk, small conversations help you improve without noticing.
Before we finish, let's ask our listeners a few questions.
Yes. Think about your last weekend. Did you stay home or did you go somewhere?
Did you meet friends or spend time alone?
Did you feel relaxed at the end of the weekend or still tired?
Try answering these questions out loud, even if you are alone. Speaking out loud helps your brain remember English faster.
And don't worry about speaking perfectly. Speak slowly, clearly, and naturally.
Thank you for spending this time with us today. We hope this conversation felt like sitting with friends and talking calmly about life.
If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to SimpleSpeak English and leave a comment telling us your favorite weekend activity.
Maybe next time we will talk about your stories.
Until then, take care of yourself, enjoy your weekend, and keep practicing little by little.
See you in the next episode.
Bye, everyone.